Hello and welcome again to Bruno Latour in 12 Easy Pieces. Uh, Usually we talk here about one specific book, Laboratory Life, Science in Action, or Politics of Nature. Today we're doing things a little differently because there's actually a whole series of publications that accompanied my transition from science and technology studies to political science in the early 2000s. After Politics of Nature, I first published two studies, Rejoicing and The Making of Law, which you can see as a return to and extension of my early laboratory studies. The first book concerns, as the subtitle has it, the torments of religious speech. It deals with the church and the religious discourses associated with it. The second book explores the French Supreme Court and the legal forms of expression associated with this institution. Now, the basic pattern is always the same. Just as laboratory life begins at the Salk Institute, where I accompanied scientists in their daily work, Rejoicing starts with a visit to an old church in a small French town where I listen to the sermons and prayers. In a similar vein, the making of law begins with my stint at the Conseil d'État in Paris, where I not only listen to the statements of lawyers and judges, but also follow the documents and files as they move through the building. Now, it's easy to see that with these books I expand and generalize my earlier questions about the exegeses on which various forms of truth production are based. Only the focus is different. I'm now generally interested in those processes throughout society in which information is not simply conveyed, but rather more or less complex translations and mediations come into play, which always also alter what is being translated and mediated. This is the basis then for my next major book on the different modes of existence, which we will discuss in due time. By the same token, however, I wanted to provide a counterpoint to the digital cultures that developed quite rapidly in the early 2000s. What I wanted to show through examples such as religion or law is that there is still something other than the regime of the double click on the internet. This insight was important, and it still is, because double click communication, this immediate and costless access, this conveyance that appears to demand no transformation, has itself become, for our contemporaries, the model of all possible communication, the ideal, the guarantee of all truth. And it is precisely this notion, this ideal that I try to challenge. Now, however, I do this not only through empirical studies concerning crucial institutions of our society and culture. I also try to develop formats myself that provide a visible counterpoint to the regimes of the double click. Thus, I have collaborated with museums, with theaters, and with radio stations. I've written radio plays and participated in performances. And above all, I've been involved in the planning and organization of some exhibitions. In 2002, for example, the exhibition Iconoclash took place at the ZKM, so the Center for Art and Media Technology in Karlsruhe, Germany. At this occasion, I collaborated with fellow art and science historians to explore today's wars of images, from the Taliban's destruction of Buddha statues to widespread skepticism regarding scientific imaging techniques and the exposure of manipulative coverage in the media. This was followed in 2005 by the exhibition Making Things Public, which focused on the spaces of politics and what I call the atmospheres of democracy, tribal councils and national assemblies, but also synods. Also at the ZKM, I did, at a later point in time, exhibits like Reset Modernity 2016 and Critical Zones in 2020. Of course, none of these shows were purely art shows. We also put on display a lot of scientific matters and showcased several political projects. Against this background, I developed the notion of Gedankenausstellung, or thought exhibition, meaning an installation and intervention that challenges visitors to truly engage with the new perspectives and new topics. Perhaps similar to what we are doing here on this channel. In any case, together with Rejoicing and Making of Law, these exhibitions laid the groundwork for my book concerning the modes of existence. I'm eager to discuss it next time with you. That was Easy Piece number 9. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again.